Even if you're lost, you can't lose the love because it's in your heart.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Waffle Press Retrospectives, Avatar, Legend of the Last Retrospective. I'm your host, Diego Crespo. With me today is my co-host, Macaringo.
Hi, my basement flooded today.
It's 100 degrees over here. Actually, it might be more than 100 degrees the day we're recording this, but so it's a little rough today.
Everything is great in the world.
It could not, no, I'm not going to say that. But
yeah, let's not do that.
Everything is just bad all the time now.
One thing I want to say, though, is I think on the last episode, I mentioned how I was really enjoying the rewatch and that I was already ahead. And, I was trying to watch 5 for, every one we were recording and, not going too far ahead. But I was enjoying the show so much that I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to keep watching. And then I'll rewatch what I can before we record. But this turned into, a whole ordeal where I did not finish watching all 5 of these episodes until today.
Okay, well...
Just, shit kept getting in the way. And I really wanted to, but I watched one episode per day. It's, slowly creeping forward.
Well, I'm glad you watched them. And I guess this is also the part of the show where we point out that if you're listening to this Avatar Retrospective podcast, we will be going over every episode of every series and every movie adaptation of Avatar The Last Airbender. And its
don't need to see the movie.
And its sequel season... Legend of Korra. We will be talking about the movie, but we're also going to presume that, you've seen it all, so we're not going to spend too much time breaking down the plot as much as discussing our reactions to it, the characters, the arcs, the themes, all that good stuff. And every episode, or every podcast episode rather, we'll be going over 5 episodes in the series of Avatar The Last Airbender. So today...
And this is the 5th episode that we're recording.
Yes, we're the first episode about season 2, book 2.
And if you're watching the show for the first time, based on how quickly it tends to take us to get these episodes out, you should be lapping us by now. You should have watched all of Last Airbender, all of Legend of Korra, and then you should be rewatching Last Airbender.
Or James Cameron's Avatar.
You're gonna keep going with that one.
I absolutely am. But today's episodes are Chapter 1.
Avatar. The name Avatar works so much better here.
I know.
It's James Cameron should have been forced to change the name of his stupid movie to Pandora, which is a better title for that.
I think so. But today's episodes are The Avatar State, The Cave of Two Lovers, The Return to Omashu, The Swamp, and Avatar Day.
So I know you're trying to rush through this. But I got tangents.
Okay, let's do them tangents then.
I got a pocket full of tangents. So.
Yeah, what are they?
James Cameron, you fuck.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. But yeah, this is season 2, book 2, and right out the gate, there's a renewed energy coming off the end of season 1, which just peaks in this incredible fantasy finale, and it doesn't reset the stage in a huge way for the series, but it's kind of one of the most satisfying season finales ever. So the question is where does season 2 go? Is it just more traveling around the world? Even though they have a renewed sense of purpose, they know that Ang Lee's an earthbending teacher now, and are they gonna get up to wacky shenanigans with more Avatar gang stuff? And then on the flip side of that, you have Zuko and Uncle Iroh, who are, they become fugitives really quickly in season 2.
Shake things up. I think what I really like about this first episode is that you end the season 1, bit of a downer with the whole moon thing, but they won. And now it's all right, the Avatar is officially back. So now everyone knows the Avatar's back. He's here to restore hope. We're going to go right to the Earth Kingdom, and the Earth Kingdom should help us, and everything should be smooth sailing from now on. There's no sneaking across enemy lines necessary anymore. And then you immediately find out the Earth Kingdom also sucks.
Yeah, it kind of tosses a wrench into more of the proceedings in a way that, like, it also answers questions that someone might have after watching the first season finale, where it's like, why doesn't he just do that? You know? Like, why doesn't he just go in the Avatar state? Like, it's fundamentally addressing why he can't just do that, and also why it examines another way why the war has, like, kind of broken people's minds, you know?
Yeah.
And that, like, you know, the voiced by Daniel Day Kim, this Earth general who's trying to force Aang into the Avatar state, has gone crazy because of the war. And, like, there's a sadness to that because he was pushed to that breaking point, obviously, because of the longevity of the fight. But also, like, well, he's a crazy person.
He's almost the Earth Kingdom inverse of, what's his name?
Admiral Zhao.
Died. Yeah. He's almost like a weird reflection of that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Where that guy was like, I'll go do whatever it takes to win. I'll kill the fucking moon. And now General Fong here is like, I'm going to kill your friends to get you to go into the Avatar state. And it's like, that's not good. Also, it does feel a little bit like hastily, like they did the Avatar state thing at the end of season 1, and then it feels like, shit, now why? Like, now we have to come up with a reason why he doesn't just always do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so they point out that it's like, hey, it takes a lot for him to go into that state. He can't really control it, and if he is killed in the Avatar state, it will break the line. It'll break the reincarnation line of the Avatar, which is bad.
Yeah,
that really raises the stakes.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like his most powerful thing is also when he's most vulnerable.
And I don't know the process of the writing of that idea, but, like, at least the emotional component of it has been seeded, like, really well throughout the first season of the show leading up to this. That, yeah, when Aang is, like, emotionally, like, distraught or, like, heightened, that's when he can, like, tap into, like, his spirit side the best. And all that other shit, the scary shit that raises the stakes, is we kind of get dumped on.
Yeah, I think it works. Like, you can just feel that, like, it was kind of like either this was something that they always intended, or they came with on the spot, but they felt the need to be like, all right, we got to get this information out immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like,
and it works.
Yeah, it's fine. And it's a great little, like, it's a great little story. And also, it's, you know, it's putting the pressure on Aang, where it's like, you know, Fong has got a point where it's like, hey, man, you could, with that power, you could take out, like, the entire Fire Nation Navy if you used it right. And all my men are dying. So I'd rather you just do that than, you know, learn to master the 4 elements.
Yeah, and it's the same confrontation that Aang had when he first ran away over 100 years ago now, right? Like, that people were telling him, like, no, he can't be a kid. He can't just, like, live his life. He needs to, like, act now because war is coming. And this is, like, the return of that, like, fear for him, you know? And the fact that he still can't even, like, access the Avatar state immediately, and he's, like, begging for this general to not, like, kill Katara. It's, like, really sad.
It's a fucked up scene, and he does try, we try a bunch of goofy ways first. Doesn't he, like, drink something?
Oh, yeah, it's, like, tea, but it's supposed to be, like, to access his chi better, but really it's just, like, caffeine. So he's like, is it working? Is it working? And then after I say, is it working?
It's a little bit like, not really, but in Big Trouble in Little China, when they're in the elevator and they drink that shit, and he's like, I'm feeling kind of invincible. And just, like, doing, like, the hand signal to everyone, like, yeah. And then he shoots the ceiling and knocks himself out. There's a great movie.
That is a great movie. Yeah, solid return for the gang.
But the B plot is in this episode is just as important as the A plot. In fact, I would almost argue the A plot is kind of secondary to what's going on with Zuko and Iroh.
Well, theirs is like a severe resetting of the board, whereas Aang is just like another conflict on the road to Omashu. You know, like, it doesn't, like, derail their plan. It's just like, yeah, we'll probably go by ourselves now.
Yeah.
Instead of the guy who wanted me to
escorted.
become a war criminal.
Yeah, we're going to get escorted, but now we're going to just do our own thing.
Mm-hmm. I like that Sokka boops him on the head. But anyways, yeah, Zuko and Iroh officially become fugitives as his sister Azula begins hunting them down. But first, she, like, welcomes them back with false open arms. And one of her, like, commanders on her own, like, Fire Navy ship, like Zuko had, is like, oh, the prisoners are ready to board, ma'am. And then immediately she's like, the fuck did she say?
That guy fucked up.
Yeah, that they didn't show it, and we never see that guy again, but I'm like 90% sure that guy's dead.
Yeah, all you need to do is not show that guy again.
Yeah, no, she definitely killed him.
You get what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, Azula, she's a real jerk.
Mm-hmm.
And she's pretty vicious. And we've seen her, I believe, twice up to this point.
Yeah, and no dialogue, but we've seen the character pop up. In
I think she has what? Does she have one line at the end of season 1?
No, she doesn't say anything. She's just waiting for her dad's orders.
Yeah, he says, you're going to go fucking fuck him up. And we also see her being very excited at her brother being permanently scarred in the face.
Yeah.
Which is, like, the first moment you're like, who the fuck is that? And then this is when we start to find out who that is.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, it's the worst person.
And she's also a perfectionist, and as you know, all perfectionists are fascists. No, but she's they do a really good job of, like, detailing how committed she is to, like, perfecting her craft and, like, becoming, like, the most, like, versatile, like, killer, basically.
I got a point to make, though, about your perfectionism thing.
Oh, God.
Here's the thing. I think Iroh is a perfectionist. But he goes with the flow. He doesn't, like, force it. Whereas Azula, her whole thing is winning. Like, that's it. And it's about winning at everything.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no deeper philosophy to that. And the philosophy of winning, I think, is one of those hollow philosophies of today. I think it wasn't me. Someone said this, and it was like one of the greatest points I ever heard. And I think it was like in a fucking comedy article I was reading. But they said the right wing of America has no real philosophy anymore other than winning. So it's like everything they do is just about winning. It's not about actually doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about actually believing in anything. The only belief is winning, which is why they're so obsessed with, like, the stock market and just, like, feeling like, and that, you know, like, to own libs has become a thing. And it really kind of is how they think these days.
I mean, like, the day of recording this, we're still dunking on Trump for, like, this recent interview he had, where it is just, like, you know, insanity, what he's saying. And in that very interview, he's saying, like, well, you know, we're number one in the world with these cases, but, you know, it's because we're testing the most, you know, so in a way we're first, you know, like, we're doing the most. And it's like, I know. Why do you, dude, thousands of people are dying every day. Oh my God.
And it's like, it's also this thing of, the right is so obsessed with winning that they've made an entire conspiracy theory up that is anytime the president fucks up and his fuck up goes viral, that's him winning.
Is that what QAnon is? I don't know what that is.
Part of what QAnon believes is that Trump is, at least that they believe this at one point. They change their fucking thing like every 3 weeks. But at one point they believed that Trump was A, sending secret signals in all his speeches, and B, he's acting the part of a fool. So he can secretly remove all the pedophiles that are running the country or something. Like, what? It's this, yeah, there's like these like weird levels to it. Like, it's pure insanity. But QAnon is so, like, flexible that it's really a conspiracy theory that just allows you to, like, believe anything.
Oh, okay. It's like when someone says, like, oh, they're being an SJW. It's like, that doesn't mean anything at this point.
And again, it's all about winning.
Uh-huh.
There's nothing deeper to it. It's not about solving a problem. It's not about accomplishing anything. It's about my side is winning.
It's mission accomplished.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and again, with your point about like SJWs and stuff, think about all the videos online that go viral. Not really go viral, but like you can find them. They have like millions of views of like SJWs owned, you know. And it's at some point it's like that doesn't really like even if you believed all that, what are you accomplishing with it? And like there's no goal to accomplish because you can't. There's no win. There's no end point, but you just have to keep like the image of winning.
I don't have anything else to add except for like, yeah, it's a really depressing reality we live in. And the good point on this, I guess, is that it looks like the majority of like the common people have kind of woken up to that not being it. There are obviously a lot of like MAGA supporters and stuff like that, and I don't want to downplay how like toxic and poisonous that is, and that's a problem that needs to be dealt with, like to educate these people out of there, right? Like some people are just too far gone, but you know, they need to be like helped in some capacity, right? But the fact that most people have woken up to this, it gives me hope that whatever happens, we can at least like overthrow the government and like win at the end of the day. But that's we'll see. We'll see. I guess
it depends. Yeah. It's all like it's going to be a long decade.
Oh,
is all I'll say.
Yep.
But hey, it might be like something where when we get to the end of it, you know, I can be like, hey, I was on the right side of history and these fuckers weren't.
I mean, but then you'll just be winning.
I know, but hey, that's all I got at this point.
I'm just trying to make it through the day now.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's literally like, I can't say that unless we actually win. So, like, I actually have to do something. I can't just appear to win.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so there you go. You're already winning with that ideology.
Because if I lose, I'm executed by the state.
Oh, okay.
So...
I guess that is a possibility for us.
It's a very, very probable thing.
I'm not crazy about that.
Are you white and rich? Then
I'm white passing, and I'm definitely not rich.
Yeah, well, there you go. Poverty, dead.
Oh.
That's what it's gonna be. I mean, hey,
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be interesting. The Cave of Two Lovers.
The last time Avatar: The Last Airbender focused on romance for an episode entirely, you and I were not very positive on it. You were specifically negative on it, and I was like, it's bad, but it's also got some cute shit in it that made me laugh. But also mostly just reductive.
Yeah, that was the one with the fucking fortune teller.
Yeah, the fortune teller.
See, the reductiveness of that overshadowed the fact that it was about romance. Because I don't have a problem with romance.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think
that episode blew.
Yeah, no. I think we've both been pretty open on any retrospective we've done about stories that do deal with romance as like not against it at all. Like I like cried through the entirety of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy about how good I think that romance is handled. But like that episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender just does not like work. Like especially in this show. Yeah. And I think The Cave of Two Lovers is a very nice, extremely cute inverse of that, in that it does really work.
It's a better version of that.
Significantly.
The only problem is...
Oh, no.
We're forced to hang out and identify with damn dirty hippies.
No.
Which, gotta be honest, I wasn't a big fan of these guys.
So you're more of a Sokka this time.
Yeah. And, because he's not wrong. That's the weird thing where both those episodes, it's like Sokka's right. Then it's like, Sokka, shut the fuck up.
But that's why Sokka's such a ladies' man.
I guess.
I don't know. I like Sokka.
Is he?
Not at this point. He likes women, he's not there yet.
He's probably the only one that like had more than one romantic interest in this series. Iroh eats a poison plant, I think.
The white jasmine tea leaf or deadly poison. And his little escapades with Zuko are a delight, but then they end really depressing after someone does help Uncle Iroh with his poisonous tea rash, and Zuko and the young woman that helps them decides to steal their ostrich horse.
Yeah.
And
well, this is like Zuko kind of starting to get a look at, he's kind of been a Mr. like down on the dumps loser boy. And he's been like, why is my life so hard? And it's like, yeah, dude, your life sucks, but you are, the prince of the Fire Lord, who is hurting a lot of people who aren't royalty and are just like peasants. And yeah, that's, they got it rough too. Like, not invalidating your suffering, but you got to step outside your bubble a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big conversations that this show handles really well, is that everyone's kind of got their own struggles and battles to fight, Like, yeah. It's not a competition. It's all just like we're all dealing with things, and we can get through it together better.
Now that Zuko and Iroh are on the run because they're fugitives, and they really disguise themselves by changing their hair slightly.
Oh yeah, I know. I know.
It's like Zuko's got like the most easily identifiable mark with that huge burn on his face.
I know. Like this is basically a nitpick, because I think I'll say it right now. I think this might be the strongest season of any Avatar season that we're about to discuss.
Hey now.
But that was always a question that like stuck in the back of my mind. Oh, how did no one recognize Zuko of the Fire Nation? The guy everyone knows whose father burned him on the left side of his face.
Could have at least given the kid like an eye patch or something.
I know, right? I know.
But hey, what are you gonna? But you know what? Maybe the better maybe the read is that all the Earthbenders do recognize him, but now he's a fugitive. They're like, fuck it.
Okay, that's a stretch. That might be a stretch.
You know how in The Great Escape, they're like, what?
I don't know. I don't know. We pull some old movies out of here for these discussions.
Yeah, well, let me make my fucking point first.
All right.
In The Great Escape, they're like, we have to always be trying to escape, like even if we're not going to succeed, because it will waste the resources of the Nazis. So it's like they're building these tunnels, and like even if they aren't going to get out, they have to do it because it's their duty to like weaken the Nazis from within, because now they have to waste more resources keeping them from escaping.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's like, all right, Zuko and Iroh are on the run. They're fugitives. Don't catch them, because now the Fire Nation has to waste, even if it's just a small amount, they still have to waste resources trying to hunt them down.
I like that read.
I mean, hey,
Yeah.
it's an interesting, and I mean, we Azula at this point in the show, she is not after the Avatar. She is after Zuko.
That will change when we get to the end of this recording.
Yes, it'll change in the very next episode.
But back to the Cave of Two Lovers, in the secret tunnel. I used to love going around with my friend Christian Rainwater. If you're listening to this, you better be, motherfucker. We used to sing this in high school, just randomly when we see each other in the hallways, because it's a catchy song.
I'm guessing you guys were really cool.
Yeah. we were the coolest. Everyone thought we were the coolest people on campus.
Better than hanging out with the guy who always quotes Monty Python, the Holy Grail.
Oh yeah, totally. Or the anime kids. Just kidding. Here's my joke. Everyone at my school is the anime kid except for me, so I was the loser who didn't watch anime.
Yeah, but every anime kid I knew grew up to be Antifa. So
no, that's true. Yeah, shout out to like 99% of the people I went to high school with for not being like red-hatted MAGA fucks. I know the 1% of you out there are, but you're not going to listen to this shit. I blocked you.
Wish I could say that about my high school.
Oh, sorry.
But I can't. Hey, I grew up in a fairly affluent white area, so it's just going to happen.
But I like the I like the cute little like will they, won't they stuff with Katara and Aang. Like, I don't know. This last rewatch, I was actually like, I was kind of like, aw.
It was nice.
Yeah, it's nothing like jaw-dropping or anything like that. This wouldn't make like a top 10 list or anything. It's just like, sometimes it's nice to have these little cute adventures nestled away in your big fantasy story.
I think the problem is I like romance fine in stories. I like, it can be really nice, but I think the problem is I'm dead inside.
Oh, okay.
So it's getting in the way of me enjoying the romance stuff as much. But I can't really blame the show for that. What was the legend of the two lovers anyway? It left my brain.
The legend of the two lovers was that their two tribes were at war, and that it's basically Romeo and Juliet, right?
Oh, and they're the first earthbenders, right?
Yeah, they learn earthbending from the badger moles, and that's how they learn to make the secret tunnels, which are essentially a labyrinth underneath the mountain that separated their two villages. And they would meet in the center of the tunnels and stuff like that, and kiss and fall in love and stuff like that. But one day, the man did not appear, and she found out that he was killed in the war between two villages. She creates a valley that we do see later in the series. I don't know if you caught that.
Well, if it's later, I don't remember it. So.
Okay. No, you see it in like Katara's like explanation of it with the drawings on the cave walls. She creates a valley, and ends the war between the two tribes, and brings about an era of peace. And then they name the city Omashu after Oma, the woman, and Shu, the man. So it's cute. It's a cute little story they stumble into.
Yeah. Sneaking off to the cave to do some kissing. You go sneak off to the cave to just kiss.
Yeah.
Secret cave.
Mm-hmm.
Cave time.
Is that like an East Coast thing? We don't have caves here.
Yeah, I don't have caves on the East Coast.
I don't know. You guys have all the weird shit.
We have the Iroquois longhouses.
I don't know what that is.
The Five Nations.
Oh, never mind.
Did you know that part of our government was based on the structure of the Iroquois Five Nations because they divided power? And there's a signed document from George Washington promising this whole section of upstate New York to the Iroquois. Guess where I lived? I know, I lived in that exact area because guess what we didn't give to them?
Oh.
Yeah. There's like one spot that we gave to them near where I live.
This is so depressing.
Yeah, and they used to always get in trouble because kids would sneak across the border to buy cigarettes because it wasn't, you didn't have to be 21 or 18 to buy them in the Iroquois Nation.
Okay. Yeah, we had a place like that by my high school too. It is no longer there.
And there was a casino.
We didn't have that.
America's a very interesting... Here's the thing. All right. I got a story, sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. We're good on time.
I just brought up the George Washington thing.
At least it wasn't 9/11.
Hey, now. We have for some reason, my city, Syracuse, New York, after 9/11, we have one of the beams from the Twin Towers at City Hall. I don't know why. But, because we're another city in New York, I guess? That's the only connection I can make, but that's a thing. But when I was in college, they had a speaker from the Iroquois come to talk to us, and like you could go and get, for like college extra credit or something if you went to it. It helped your grade. And I went to it, and this guy gave this like really good speech. He was talking about it, and he's like, and he had the actual document with him that George Washington signed in like, like a glass thing. So you could see George Washington's actual signature. So it was like really fascinating. And I had this really great time. And then this guy gets up and was like, I'm here to talk about gambling addiction. And I think your casino is contributing to my brother's gambling addiction. And the guy's like, well, we're a casino. I mean, there's groups for that. We give money to groups like that, but it doesn't really have anything to do. Because the guy was actually there to talk about how he's been advocating for the return of some of the land they were promised. That's what he was there to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, well, that's not really what I'm here to talk about. And then that guy got up and left.
What does that have to do with the Cave of Two Lovers?
Absolutely nothing.
All right, that's getting cut.
But no, look, hey, I'm fascinated with the history of my home state.
You guys have Wendigos?
Yeah, actually.
What?
I mean, well, like, there's a lot of, like, myths that, like, connect, you know. I don't know if they call them Wendigos, but it's one of those things where it's like, there's similar Wendigo myths in the fucking northeast area or whatever the fuck.
So at the end of the Cave of Two Lovers,
No caves in Syracuse.
The gang...
Actually, there totally are.
The gang makes it to Omashu, and...
You see, because there are glaciers in the Ice Age, like, stretched down all the way to New York, and they created a lot of, like, interesting hills and valleys and, like, really deep lakes. And you can't go swimming in the lakes, because sometimes you could swim underwater, and you could end up under a weird pocket, and, like, if you swim up, you'll hit your head and drown. Because they're all shaped really weird because of glaciers.
Are you done?
So there are caves, is what I'm getting at.
Okay. So at the end of the Cave of Two Lovers, Sokka has hopefully learned to loosen up a little bit and understand that the destination is just as important as the journey. But Sokka doesn't care. So
Sokka was right. Those hippies suck.
I like them. If they kept coming back, I wouldn't have liked them. But I like them for this one-off.
They kept singing fucking songs.
Secret tunnel. Secret tunnel.
Never with those people.
I'd sing that at karaoke. But they get to Omashu, and they discover that it has been taken over by the Fire Nation.
Dun, dun, dun.
That was a great little cliffhanger. When I saw that, I was like, wait, what? Like, I remember my reaction to that being very loud. According
to the Wikipedia, if you had watched it when it aired, you would have had to wait 2 weeks for the resolution. I don't know why. Why was that? Oh, you know why?
Because Nickelodeon fucking shit when it comes to scheduling shit.
Oh, wait, no, my math is wrong. For some reason, I thought... it says it aired on March 24th, and the next episode was April 7th. So I was like, it must have been April 1st. They must have done something for April 1st, but I don't think that math adds up.
No, it would have been March 31st.
Yeah, so...
So it's 3 weeks.
Why, then.
No, never mind. Ignore me.
You idiot.
Never mind.
24 hours is like 3 weeks.
It's this 100-degree heat. Don't blame me.
Yeah, and all my fuck ups are because the basement flooded.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so they get back to Omashu.
My power still isn't back, by the way.
Aang's plan was to have Boomy teach him earthbending, because that's a pretty easy setup, right? It would be fun. Spend more time with Boomy. It's a good character.
Do you mean Uncle Boomy who can recall his past lives?
No. No, but it's a great film. Everyone should watch that.
Are you telling me this guy can't recall his past lives?
Oh, I guess Aang can. I don't know if Boomy can.
But Boomy totally seems like a guy who could.
No, Boomy probably just has a bunch of weird shit going on in his mind all the time that we just have no perspective into.
Yeah, Boomy looks like he lived a whole life.
He looks like he lives 10 lives.
He's getting, like, thrown around in this episode. He's, like, 100 years old. That dude's got some, like, stamina.
I know. He's, like, as old as Aang, right? So, like, he's just... Yeah. He's built that earthbending technique, I guess. He's earthbending with his face. Which is, like, amazing. Because, all the other bending techniques we've seen causes, like, the full range of, like, the body's capacity and, like... extensive motions, and he's just like chin up, like boom. So that's pretty cool. And then this is the episode where Azula, of course, shows up again, but also determines that she cannot hunt her brother and eventually the Avatar with her whole entourage following her, and immediately shows that she's more efficient than Zuko ever was because she just immediately tosses that aside. And also, we've kind of seen that already the last season.
We also learn that even though Azula is evil on the surface in every way, Doesn't even bother to hide it. Even she has more friends than her brother.
I know.
Which is... Oh, man. You kind of feel bad for Zuko at times.
I feel bad for Zuko all the time. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't feel bad for him yet because he's still an asshole. I can't really feel bad for him yet.
Oh, yeah, no. He's like a huge asshole at the beginning of this season again. I forgot. Like, he's just a little shithead.
He steals the lady's ostrich thing.
Ostrich horse.
Yeah, it wasn't a good thing to do.
No, it was awful.
That lady was nice to them.
Yeah.
But Azula is much worse to her actual friends. Which is a huge bummer.
Yeah, so you get to meet Ty Lee and May, who both fan favorite characters for obvious reasons. They're just
both great.
And they have like this great like trio dynamic between them. Like they're a fun little counterpoint to the Avatar gang. They all got like their own little like quirks and you can tell they all have like this interiority. Like they all have their own like goals in life, but they're kind of manipulated into like leaving. Or I guess Ty Lee is manipulated into leaving that, and then
every time
May is like just bored.
Whenever they're just walking together, they are genuinely intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that as an adult watching the show knowing they are children. So, you know, they're still very intimidating when they're in a group. And they actually, for the first time, it actually feels like they're a threat to Aang, which I haven't totally felt from the Fire Nation up to this point.
Yeah, I think the only, like, let's take a look back at this then. The only times in, like, Season 1 where you could actually feel, like, genuine peril are kind of with the pirates and Zuko, just because that was like such a crazy like set piece, you know, but not really Zuko ever by himself, and like the attack on the North Pole, like or you know what, when Admiral Zhao captured him too with those like crazy archers, that was kind of like there's more peril there.
And Zhao straight up says like, "Look, I know it's a bad idea to kill you because you'll just come back, so I'm just going to torture you." He says that to a child.
Yeah, so not a great group of guys over there.
Yeah. But most of the time, the Fire Nation is portrayed fairly comically, including this one where they trick basically everyone in Omashu that there's a outbreak of pentapox, which is something they just and there's a good running gag of like, I'm pretty sure I've heard of that, but they just clearly made it up. Yeah. And everyone falls for it, which is great.
I hate that. What's that like? Phobia, like tryptophobia or whatever, of like the holes in skin and shit. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm not crazy.
I've never heard of this.
Okay, so it's like basically like one of the seasons of American Horror Story like really promoted a lot of their images using it, and like they got a lot of complaints apparently because it's like really fucked up, but.
Is that the one with the snakes?
No. It's like they look like almost like beehives, you know, or bee combs, honeycombs, and shit.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, I won't send you a picture because it's horrifying. But anyways,
you can't send me a picture because I don't have fucking internet.
Okay, well, whatever. The pentapox just reminds me of that, and I hate it. But the little pentapus, is that what they're called?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I like those little guys. They're cute,
little octopus-looking dudes.
Yeah. But instead of octopus, it's pentapus because there's only 5.
Azula is incredibly mean to Ty Lee.
It's not fair.
It's so mean. It made me really upset. Like, just rewatching it. I don't like people that mistreat their friends. Because friends are the most valuable currency in this world.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize you're getting so sentimental right now.
I don't know why I compared friends to currency, but hey, you know.
Human stock capital.
Yeah, it's just, you know, Ty Lee had found her dream. She's in the circus. Which is like a dream kids have for some reason.
Yeah, I never got that, but whatever.
Even though the circus, like, objectively sucks. But she was an acrobat in the circus, and she just treats her awfully, and then tricks her into, like, basically quitting. That was a very mean thing to do.
Well, she's not a nice person. She also convinced May to let her son or her brother be kidnapped. So, like,
Yeah, but May's like a nihilist, so like that's understandable.
I guess, yeah.
She didn't seem to be that broken up about it. But we did not see that conversation.
I guess that's true.
We did not see. We just Azula maybe was like, "Look, I'll get your brother back," even though she doesn't.
I know, like,
And but
oh yeah, as
as
far as May knows, at the end of this episode, when she leaves with Azula and Ty Lee to go hunt down the Avatar and Zuko, like, her brother's still missing.
yeah, there's a great moment though. I guess is it May or Mai? For some reason it just isn't sticking in my brain.
I know, me neither. I'm not going to do the toe pooper thing again, so
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, oh yeah, I can't trust you, but whatever her name is, her introduction is great because she's kind of like pointed out as like, you know, oh, I'm so bored, you know, that type of teenager. She's almost, it kind of reminded me a little bit of what's her name in Beetlejuice.
Winona Ryder.
Yeah, Winona Ryder, where she's like, my life is a dark room, or whatever she said. And so you're like, all right, that's this character. But then she comes across Aang, like they end up in a conflict with Team Avatar. And then she's just like fucking whipping knives out and shit. And it's like, whoa, what the fuck?
Just everyone in this world is like carrying, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's like, you know, like the guards were less prepared than she was. And she like is still like, and even when it's over, she's like, eh. It was great. See, she's in it for like the sport of it.
Yeah, because like she is a nihilist, but even like the basic setup of like her not having a conflict and being bored because of it, I think is generally pretty compelling because it's like, okay, what does she eventually care about? And then at the end it's hinted that like, oh, she had a crush on Zuko or something because they're all from the Fire Nation.
Face. Mm-hmm. She makes a face.
This run of 3 episodes at first was like really strong right out of the gate.
Yeah,
like,
well,
they waste no time.
We didn't really talk about Boomy, who can recall his past lives.
Okay.
King Boomy, who can recall his past lives. All right, I got some questions.
Oh, I figured.
Boomy is like, look, a good Earthbender. You know, they wait and listen because they got to be in touch with the Earth around them, right? Mm-hmm. Fine lesson, but what does that have to do with letting your city be conquered? Also, if that's your plan, hey, maybe let your troops in on it.
You're probably right.
I'm not like trying to be like plot hole because Boomy's like a clearly like wacky king.
Yeah.
So like I'm not trying to be like what the fuck, but it's like, hey, Boomy, you know, maybe not the best.
Yeah.
At handling these situations.
Yeah, because the episode does leave it off like, oh, that's why you did it. Good idea. And it's like, well, it's an okay idea. It probably saved a couple lives at least, but like also, I'm kind of on your wavelength with that one. Mm-hmm. I'm like, probably at least a little explanation or like.
I mean, waits and listens. It's just kind of like, here's why that character is going to be like they are. Mm-hmm. But we will not meet that character in the next 2 episodes.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, well, we kind of will.
Oh, yeah, there's a little hint of a future meeting in the swamp.
The swamp. Drain the swamp.
No.
Why Remember when that was a thing?
I don't remember if that was 2 days ago or 5 years ago.
Remember when Lock Her Up was a thing?
That's still a thing. And like,
yeah, but what's weird is that now we're all like, lock her up because she's probably got ties to Epstein.
Yeah,
and Trump can't do that because he also has ties to Epstein. So it's like he actually could deliver on one of his campaign promises.
The one people have generally also woken up to and been like, no, yeah, there probably is some bad things there.
But I mean, to be fair to the awful person that is Hillary Clinton, she is weaponized a lot to like stroke right-wing outrage, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, she has kind of become like a lightning rod, unfortunately, for like misogynistic takes too, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's a difference between like, hey, what she's done is actually pretty bad for like society and people of color and like
Yeah,
minorities.
she's a genuinely terrible person, but she's also like a scapegoat for a lot of shit.
Yeah, come on, criticize her properly. Don't just be an asshole.
Because it's like every few weeks they float this idea that, like, I hear from all my fucking conservative relatives with like, "Dear Hillary's gonna run again." Like, you're still saying it like now.
Jesus Christ!
And it's like, no, she's not. But Fox News and its ilk have to bring it up every few weeks because the mention of her name angers people, that's sexism.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that like just mentioning her angers people like that. Whereas it's like, no, she's got a lot of problems.
Like most of the politicians in this fucking country.
She's done more to complain about Bernie, and her friends have done more to stop Bernie than Donald Trump.
Yeah, which is like weird, and no one talks about how weird that is.
Yes, it's incredibly weird.
It's almost like they don't actually want to win the election, because then they'd have to do things. But who knows? That might just be a crazy...
Not to get conspiratorial.
Yeah.
And not to point out that they're running possibly the weakest candidate they could possibly run.
Well, next to Michael Bloomberg.
I don't know. Bloomberg was at least like a raging asshole. Like, it's like we're running white bread. What it feels like.
This doesn't feel
to
great.
Bring it to something positive for a second, and sorry to go back an episode, but I really like the design of Omashu, where it's like it was like some sort of like mountaintop that they just kind of carved a city into. That's a really cool, just like how they like the Earthbenders, it's built around their whole thing.
Well, I think the implication was after the Cave of Two Lovers episode, to go back 2 episodes, is that like the mountain area was the thing that was created by Oma. So that's where the mountains come into play.
Yeah. I mean, I get that, but I'm just saying that like the design is good.
No, okay. I'm just bringing it all around. I think it's nice.
Although, when you say that she made the mountains, you know what that unfortunately reminded me of?
I'm scared. The Hobbit?
Do you remember lava?
Anyways, the swamp.
Someone to lava. Where she like
drain the lava.
The lady volcano she grows out of the water.
I know. I remember.
Have a dream. I hope will come true.
Oh, you remember the words.
See, I like romance.
There's a plane flying
two
outside. I want it to crash through my window.
Hey, now. I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good about all this.
I don't know. The Swamp is another really good episode. You get to see cool little new waterbending techniques.
There's some Cajun people.
Oh, yeah. There's some... I mean, they're just... it's obviously like hillbilly analogs.
Yeah, it's like a group of people we've just all agreed is okay to make fun of. Which is kind of odd.
Yeah, I don't get what that's about.
Did you ever see the famous Samurai Jack episode, Jack and the Scotsman?
Yeah.
Everyone talks about that because the Scotsman character is so hysterical, and it's great to quote. But I think what people talk about less. Do you remember the pig sheriff that's in it?
Yeah. Where
he's got a Cajun voice, but he just talks in babble.
Yeah, he's like Boomhauer.
It's like we're all okay with that. It's like that in Swedish Chef.
I don't know that one actually.
Swedish Chef from the Muppets.
Oh,
or like chicky, like that's. We can just do that with the Swedish.
I guess so. There's nothing to like. There's nothing else we have on them.
I guess.
Yeah.
Just like it's one of those things where it's like try that with another group. It's like
not to make it a competition or anything.
Like, hey, maybe not the best thing, but hey, they look like the Game Grumps. Do you know what the Game Grumps are?
Yes, I remember the Game Grumps. Are they still around? I know the original ones are not like.
Well, no, the one left and then became racist.
Oh yeah. Oh, that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I don't know, but I watched an episode of Game of Grumps because Paul F. Tompkins was on.
Oh, okay.
And they were like, oh, these guys are fine. And I think one of them recently said, like, trans rights, which is great.
Oh, cool. Good.
I mean, I don't know enough about them.
Yeah.
But I know what they look like now.
And they look like that.
And they look like the two Cajun guys. So, they are not... They're kind of they're definitely the B story because they're trying to kill and eat Appa.
Yeah, which is pretty fucked up.
Yeah, it's a fun little episode.
But then each of the Team Avatar members stumble upon a vision of something they've lost or something that they're looking for. Well, Aang is the only one that stumbles onto the thing he's looking for, and he sees a flying boar and a mysterious girl who we've never seen before and he hasn't seen before, and he doesn't know what it means yet, but he knows it's important now. And Sokka sees Yue. I think we talked about it on a prior episode that she does. You didn't remember her coming back, and she returns here. And then
there you
Katara.
Go. Prove me wrong.
I
me
did.
Wrong.
Yeah.
This is the thing. This is becoming a running gag where 5 episodes after I say something, I am proven wrong.
Yep.
As it happened with her and happened with the pirates.
And Katara
Although,
sees her mother.
Hey, I think we said on an episode that we never found out what Iroh's thing with the spirit world was.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you're playing me, but I remembered what it was.
Okay.
And it is on the show. I don't know if we see him, but we find out what it was.
Okay.
So, so there you go.
All right. I think we'll talk about that relatively soon.
No, we will probably not talk about that till season 3.
Okay. That's relatively.
I mean, who knows? I could be wrong, but yeah, everyone's seeing some shit in the swamp.
And it's... Oh, we also get to see vine vending now.
Yeah, hey.
Yeah, because they could bend the water through the vines, and that gets some great little, like... Like, I bet Guillermo del Toro would have loved this episode.
Yes.
Especially with, like, the weird swamp monster.
Oh, yes.
And someone on Twitter pulled a gif of Katara when she's running up to it, and it just, like, smacks her aside. And the caption was like, I love you, Katara, but what were you even thinking? Because she just, like, hops back and forth, like, in a straight line. And it's like, you see, like, Katara do, like, some of the most incredible bending techniques throughout the history of the show. And then just to cut to that, it's like, oh, yeah, they kind of just gave up there, didn't they?
That's when we meet the guy who does the swamp bending. And he talks about the concept of, like, a tree and the interconnectivity of all things.
And is that the first, like, spirit heavy stuff we've gotten this season, right? Like, apart from the Avatar state, of course, but, like...
I think so. Apart from that, I think this is the first time we've gotten, like, new shit kind of thrown into, like, the different levels of spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
It's also interesting because Yoda in Star Wars lived on a swamp planet, and that's where he teaches the idea that life and the Force are connected.
Yeah, it is very Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, I'm not angry about it.
Yeah, no, of course. Right? It's just season 2 is very Empire Strikes Backy.
Yeah,
structurally, especially on some of the heavier action episodes. I'll say it's very Empire Strikes Back.
And not to diss Return of the Jedi, a movie I love, but I think the season 3 might be a better version of Return of the Jedi.
And I think you should shut up until we get there.
A little bit.
We'll get there. There's stuff to talk about.
Well,
I don't want to play my cards on that one.
Are you going to be like, actually, season 3 is the worst season of Avatar and Korra combined?
What accent is that?
That's, that's like...
You sounded like Eric Cartman.
Hey, guys.
Actually, book 3 is fine.
My mom says I'm cool. Remember when Cartman was just like an annoying kid, and then now he's like
a racist.
Yeah.
He's a racist, terrorist, supremacist.
I mean, he was always racist, but the idea was he's a racist because he's a dumb kid. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, oh, Cartman's murdered people.
Yeah. And there's like PC principle or some shit. I tapped out of South Park like at the beginning of last decade, so I've completely missed everything that's happened since then.
I only check in periodically, but there's like been this really fascinating thing where they did like the whole PC principle thing, and then the rise of Trump has clearly like shaken them a little bit, because like they spent that whole season trying to be like, well, Trump is kind of like what we do. And like trying to like figure out like what their voice is in an age of Trump. Because like there's that quote that went around where like they were like, we're not going to do Trump, and everyone was like, oh, they're you know, of course they won't because they're right wing or whatever. Which, you know, you can say a lot about their politics, but if you really read the quote, they were kind of like, we just don't know how to parody it. It's like, it's what we've been doing, and now it's like our reality, and it's really messed with us. And they did an episode where because remember they used to mock Al Gore with Man Bear Pig?
Yeah, of course.
And now they did an episode where they're like, actually Man Bear Pig's real. which was their way of going, global warming is actually real and we should deal with it.
Oh, okay, see, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think because it's still South Park, there's like, they still have to do that both sides bullshit.
Yeah, that's what really sinks it.
I really stopped watching just because they fucking like just suck when it comes to trans issues, and it's like I have too many like trans friends at this point.
Yeah,
and it's like, you know, it's one thing to kind of like not have your finger on the pulse of America, but the stuff that gets thrown around trans people like can result in like actual deaths. Mm-hmm. So we got to be smarter about that.
Yeah, not to spend too much time on South Park, but I think that's also part of the reason why I tapped out of that. Like, not even because like I was as politically aware as I was during the Obama administration or anything like that, but like especially around like 2015, 2016 when Trump started campaigning, that's when I was like officially like, I'll probably never sit down to watch an episode again, because you can just see how that fed into like a lot of that base, you know?
Yeah. You know what was the big thing for me, honestly? And this might sound weird. It was fucking Gamergate.
That doesn't sound weird at all. It sounds exactly like that.
It's just, but it was one of those things where I like, if I'm being perfectly honest, like I was a shitty teenager.
I was a shitty person. I would be right there with you
for a long time, and I was like, you know, I was never like anti-women or anything, and I was never anti like trans. I've never been that, but I was like. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I was kind of like both siding it. And I was kind of like, you know, I'm okay with feminism as long as it doesn't go too far. You know, like that type of asshole.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of the wake up call where it was like, oh, you can't be a both sides guy now. Like, you have to pick it. There's only two sides. Mm-hmm. There's no middle road on that one. And that's what kind of pushed me to the left on that stuff more. Mm-hmm. And I have this really it's like the most depressing thing. I saved it where I wrote on Facebook right when that was happening. I was like, I really hope Gamergate isn't the sign of like this weird right-wing resurgence in this country. And it was like, hey. No. It sucks being right.
It's not great.
Not great. Not the best. Things just suck.
Yeah.
But the one thing I want to talk about the episode, if you want to get back to it now.
Yeah, sure.
I texted you about this, actually. Let me find the text I sent you, because this guy says, cut my long pause out.
I remember what he says. Can I say it?
Sure.
That death is an illusion.
It says, time is an illusion, so is death.
I was close. Okay, so you fucking had it.
Yeah, I wrote it down. I was looking for it. And, like, right when I found it, you were like, I know. I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll let Diego say it. And then you were wrong.
Well, I was only half wrong.
But I could be wrong, too. Like, I wrote it really quick. Mm-hmm. But he says, time is an illusion, so is death. And it stuck to me. It's like, does any other kid show ever say death is an illusion?
Probably not.
Which is, but it's probably something that's easier to believe when you're a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I think when I was a kid and I watched this, it was like, oh yeah, the afterlife is a real thing. God's real, Jesus is real, Santa Claus is real, the Tooth Fairy's real, good cops are real. Like, all the mythical creatures of the world.
Well, to kind of go into the more religious side of it, that's definitely why this show struck a chord with me. And I think we talked about it a little bit on Star Wars, like why that series is kind of like my relationship to it has gotten more complex in a more positive way as I've gotten older and been like, yeah, I don't know about this religion stuff. I got too many questions, but it is something that I still hold like dear to me, like in terms of faith, not so much in like afterlife and like a higher power, I guess, but just like the idea of how things like that can connect us, And yeah. I think this show does a really good job of illustrating why like it's so important, like what we do to the earth is what we do to each other. It doesn't matter what you believe, like that is a fundamental fact of life, that is more true than taxes. There you go.
Yeah, I think in this weird thing where it's like, because it's someone who also became an atheist and is still an atheist, but there's this weird thing where if you leave spirituality, the farther you get away from it, you actually start coming back around in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
Where you start like looking at like a deeper thing. I don't want to say deeper because that sounds pretentious, but like you start looking at the interconnectivity of all things in like a different way, and an afterlife in a way that doesn't actually mean physically going to an afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
But what was the thing that's like, as someone who went through an asshole atheist phase, was the thing that saved me from going like fully overboard with it was when people like Richard Dawkins were like, you can't support Star Wars or Harry Potter because there's magic in it, and like you have to believe in the Force for it to work, and that teaches anti-intellectual thinking. And that was like the first time I was like, I think that's kind of bullshit. Cut to, years later, and Richard Dawkins is saying really crazy shit about women. And it's like, hey.
Maybe Richard Dawkins will be our Jordan Peterson for this retrospective.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nah,
you know what?
never
I never read Dawkins. Even like at the peak of my atheism.
Oh, thank God.
Because all his books always felt like, they felt like they were dunking on religious people, which I was never a fan of. But it also felt like if you were that guy who's like, I'm still religious, but I'm questioning, like that's what his books are good for. But if you're already on Team Atheism, his books kind of suck.
Mm.
I embarrassingly did read a lot of Christopher Hitchens, though. Which I am forever ashamed.
Were you ever a Bill Maher guy?
No.
Okay.
No, I never liked Bill Maher.
For a year or two, I was like, yeah, I like that Bill Maher. And then, like, I don't know what happened. I just woke up one day. I was really depressed around that time. This was like 2012, 2013.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then
depression led you to liking some fucking fucked up people? I never related to that.
But, like, after, like, something just happened, I just woke up and I was like, no, I'm pretty sure he's a piece of shit. And then, like, a year after or whatever, like, relatively soon after that, Ben Affleck was like, you're, like, Islamophobic, dude.
I know, that was the best.
Oh, yeah, that's why I'll always kind of go to bat for him, Like, God forbid something horrible comes out about him, then I'm like, oh, shit. But, like, I saw that, like, publicly, like, defacing him on his own show for being straight up Islamophobic, and I was like, all right, I like this new Ben Affleck, this new auteur director Ben Affleck.
But there was that thing with Bill Maher for me, it was like every now and then he would say stuff that I'd be like, yeah, like I agree. But then he was always doing shit where he's like, I don't believe in vaccines. Like in between it. So it was enough to keep me like away from him. But I never had a strong opinion of him until I saw his documentary Religulous.
Oh, the worst film ever made?
Yeah, which was like this thing where again, I was like deep into atheism at the time, and like all my atheist friends were like, "You gotta watch this documentary," right? Mm-hmm. And like they were trying to turn it into like the atheist version of Passion of the Christ. Like they wanted it to be like this big thing, and I watched it, and it's just Bill Maher like going around making fun of religious people. It's like, what the fuck? What? Like that's not why I'm in this. That's not why I'm on this team. You know. Mm-hmm. Like, that always bugged me. Because that was, like, the thing. There was, like, there was two types of atheists, which were the ones who, like, were like, I just don't believe, and the ones that were there to, like, be smarter than everyone. And it was a bummer. Because the ones who were trying to be smarter than people were always the loudest voices.
Yeah.
And then all those people ended up voting Trump, so.
He said the N-word on his show, like, 2 years ago.
Did?
Yeah. And nothing came of it.
Well, why?
I don't know. we should bring that back into the public consciousness.
Although a lot of your faves, look out there, have said the N-word and like they think they're being funny and edgy.
That's true. That's true.
There was a stretch where we were like cool with it.
No,
and by we,
no,
I mean,
but he did. No, he did
America.
it like 2 years ago.
I know.
That's the thing. Like people can change and grow. He's clearly someone who's just not, you know? Like,
well, there's a Will Ferrell skit. You ever see where he's Robert Goulet?
No.
Where it's like one of his best bits, but like they won't post it anywhere because he says the N-word in it. And because the joke is Robert Goulet is going to cover rap songs. Like, that's the joke. And the joke is he doesn't get that when they say the N-word in it, you don't pronounce it with the hard R.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's the joke. So it's him doing, like, I won't quote the song, of course.
Please don't.
But he's like, I don't care if he's Mr. Notorious Big. Can he croon? Like, that's like the skit.
Oh.
He's like, Papa, I love it when you call me Big Papa. And it's funny except for that, like, because the album is called "It's a Rap," which is funny. Why? And he's like, clearly, it's weird because like the joke is Robert Goulet is also supposed to be racist in the skit. Mm-hmm. He's like, why'd you let these hooligans tear down the biz?
So stupid.
And it was one of the most popular ones. It used to be one of those ones wherever they'd be like, best of SNL, they would air it all the time, and then like 5 years ago, it just got pulled from everywhere. So I hope you own your best of Will Ferrell SNL DVD.
Oh.
So I think that's the only place you can get it now.
On a lighter note, Zuko and Iroh are still living as beggars, and Zuko starts stealing from people.
As the blue whatever he is.
The blue spirit.
Yes.
From the fan favorite episode that you said can go fuck itself.
Which one was that?
I hate you.
I don't remember.
The blue spirit.
Yeah, I remember that happened. Was that the name of the episode?
Yeah, that was the name of the episode.
Oh, alright. That episode sucks, yeah.
No, it's good. It
doesn't suck, but it's like not my favorite. A lot worse episodes.
I would agree because I think it's one of the best, but that's okay. But yeah, Zuko wears the blue spirit mask again. It's cool. It's classic.
Why did I hate that episode? I don't even remember.
You just couldn't remember anything that happened in it. You're like, yeah, it was fine.
Oh, all right. No, it's. Honestly, I don't even think I hate the episode. It was just this weird thing where I kept watching it, and then I would just forget it, and again I forget it. So I can't even say I hate the episode. It's just for whatever reason it just won't stick in my brain.
I don't know. It's weird, but like as book 2 is obviously the follow-up to season 1. In these first episodes, we get kind of a pair of sequels to season 1 episodes with Return to Omashu and also with episode 5 or chapter 5, Avatar Day, which is kind of a sequel to the Kyoshi Warriors. And
guess what?
You hated it.
I loved this episode.
Okay. Is this your favorite of the bunch?
Of the bunch, this is my favorite.
Okay.
I loved this episode so much. And what caught me off guard is that I remembered it. Like, it wasn't like I forgot, like, the anti-Avatar Day thing. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a joke. The episode's called Avatar Day, but then it's like, oh, they hate the Avatar. I remember that, and so for some reason in my brain I was like, it's, you know, it's a forgettable episode, it's just like a roundabout plot. I was kind of expecting the fortune teller again, to be honest.
Oh no.
But not only is it really interesting, which we'll get into, but like every joke lands. Mm-hmm. Which I didn't expect. Sometimes you watch these kid shows and there's like a lot of humor in it for kids, and I would have to be a real asshole to complain about jokes in a kid show meant for children.
Yeah.
You know, like, you would have to be a real douche to do that. But this one, it was like, I was like laughing out loud watching the episode.
Yeah, no, in terms of like the more episodic stories in the series so far, I think this is one of the stronger ones. Like, it's got a genuinely compelling like mystery element. Sokka gets to go a little like CSI, you know, which like I don't know, it's just fun.
He gets to be a detective, and what's funny is they put so much time into it, and it kind of adds up to nothing.
I know.
That's what I think. That was what killed me, was that he does all this investigation, and then it's like, why have evidence? You won't need it.
Yeah.
It's like, why? It's like, well, the trial is you say your side, and then I say my side, and then I choose who's right.
Yeah.
James Hong again has returned, voicing a different character. No, not Chin the Great. That was the evil guy.
As Chin the Conqueror.
Yeah.
As we come to know him as.
No, but they call him Chin the Great because he was a great guy. Yeah. And the Avatar Kyoshi killed him. So they burn avatars in effigy every year. And
I do like that eventually they find out, like, oh yeah, he was a bad person, but she still killed him, so.
Yeah, I know. It's so great. It's so fucking funny.
Also, it's easy to see why Kyoshi is, like, a fan favorite. Not just for, like, the Warriors of Kyoshi episode, but also, like, she's very Wonder Woman.
Yeah, and voiced by Jennifer Hale.
Yes.
Again. Who was the weird bounty hunter character.
Oh, yeah.
In season 1. And now Commander Shepard's back, but this time she's Avatar Kyoshi, which rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, voice sounds basically the same, but what are you going to do?
I know, but whatever.
It's fine. It fits. It works. But yeah, it's just this funny thing where it's like Sokka loses his boomerang, so now he's like, alright, I got to find a new personality because I don't have my goddamn boomerang. So he decides like he's gonna be a detective, and he does a lot of detective work. Find out that Kyoshi had the biggest feet of any avatar.
It is fun.
Which I mean, it's funny because it's like, why make that a detail? But then it's also like the evidence they use. Yeah. It's like, oh, there's little feet. It couldn't have been her. And then Aang has to defend himself, but he does such a terrible job explaining anything.
As you can see, I have small feet.
Yeah. It's like, and the painting was different. And see, I was in the painting. There's that.
Yeah, that's pretty great. And when they go back to Kyoshi Island, you get to see that the town leader says that, like, oh, they inspired the Warriors of Kyoshi to go out and start, like, doing positive causes out in the world and, like, helping people while the Avatar has returned.
I'll just say I hope they don't come back. Because, I mean, they're obviously going to come back.
Yeah, there you go.
So.
And then there's a nice little wraparound. In the beginning of the episode, you get to see these warriors that rough rhinos.
Yeah, the rhino guys.
Yeah, rough rhinos. Yeah.
Which is a reference to Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders, I guess. I don't know.
Oh my god, that would have been horrifying.
Hey, but you know, Teddy Roosevelt was an imperialist fuck. So
this is why this is the true successor to the Star Wars franchise, because it also radicalized small children about the evils of American imperialism.
Yes.
But I like that. This isn't a huge thing, but I just like the designs on, like, these smaller level baddies in Avatar: The Last Airbender, because, like, you see these guys, like, twice in the entire series, but they all have, like, this distinct, like, design to them and, like, movement.
They put more detail than they ever needed to put into them.
Yeah, and so they're cool little villains, you know.
The show goes above and beyond in all the, like, little areas, and that stuff really adds up.
Mm-hmm. It makes it feel like a complete world.
Yeah. Where, like, a bad show is, like, the opposite, where it's, like, sometimes a show can be, like, totally solid, but it's got, like, a million little bad things, and that, like, chips away at it. This is the exact opposite, where it's got a bunch of great things.
Mm-hmm.
But I also got to talk about, again, as a sequel to Kyoshi Warriors, which I talked about as getting, like, weirdly subversive that early in the show.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it was, like, 2005, which, like, it feels like a radical episode even for then. I mean, even for now. This is an episode where, so, Aang's past self, Kyoshi, who was a woman, may or may not have committed a crime, so they have to try and prove her innocence. That doesn't work. So then they're like, all right, maybe we can bring Kyoshi's spirit back. And the way they do it is by making Aang dress up as Kyoshi. And it's kind of played for laughs, but it also works.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's funny because it's Aang and he's small, but...
Mm-hmm. And yet she was a bigger person.
Yeah, but then it's also, like, empowering because not only does it work, but it's also like, oh yeah, like, there is power in that. And she ended up saving, like, the world in her own time.
Yeah. Well, again, it's also a comedy scene, but it's also a scene where it's like, it's not that, like, degrading someone for wearing women's clothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. That's what makes it work.
Which is just what's fascinating. Because, again, that's, like, such a, like, common comedy trope. Even in, like, works that, like, aren't, like, fucked up in any way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, part of me is... I honestly think part of me thinks that the reason why the UK has such a trans problem is because so much of their comedy is filled with men dressing as women. It's, like, such a common thing in British comedies.
Mm.
And I wonder how much that's influenced the, like, the culture over there.
Mm.
But it totally works. It calls on Kyoshi's spirit, and we see that she fucking, like, split a continent in half.
And created an island.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
And then they're still like, that proves she's guilty. It's this great little moment. This episode was fantastic. I loved it so much.
I don't know if it's my favorite of the bunch, but I liked all of these quite a bit, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, I definitely liked them. I think it's just one of the things as this episode, I mean this season, being the return of, Empire Strikes Back type season, it does get progressively darker. So sometimes my enjoyment's a little subdued because I know where some of this is going.
Mm-hmm.
So that can always put, like, a bummer on things.
Yeah, because the next episodes are a little heavier than this. So I like that they ease you back in, because this is very similarly structured to season 1, but it's already hitting you with, like, the best laid plans are not going to come to pass, you know? Like,
yes.
It's such a clear goal at the first episode, and it's already changed by the end of the third episode, that they have to, like, rework everything, and they're basically in free fall at this point. We don't really, like, talk about that very much. That they basically have no plan for these last 2 episodes.
Well, they're basically just like, we gotta find a teacher to teach them earthbending. I guess we'll just fuck around.
Yeah.
Fuck around, find out. But maybe we will meet that bender in the very next episode, but we're out.
Yeah,
for now.
We're out. But also we also have to mention that Zuko has started stealing things to feed him and Uncle on the road, and Uncle Iroh's, not okay with that, and Zuko says that maybe right now it's best for them if they split up on their travels. And Iroh gives him the ostrich horse, and Zuko goes on his own way. And they split up. And then Aang and the gang get to celebrate the new Avatar Day in celebration of him saving their town from the rough rhinos with uncooked dough in memory of them not being burned.
Oh, it's so great.
That's so, ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, the Wheel of Punishment is a thing we brushed over, but that's fantastic. Yeah. Which, for some reason, has all these horrific punishments, but also community service.
Yeah. It's the one at, safe out, just in case.
It's the best. This episode's great.
Yeah. One of
what
the
a great note to end on.
Yeah, one of the better roundups of episodes we've talked about so far too.
Yeah, no duds. Mm-hmm. But I mean, Avatar, like we said, Avatar is usually one where it's like a dud is like an anomaly on the show, frankly.
Yeah, it doesn't. Honestly, if I remember correctly, I think we're done with them for a while.
We'll see.
Like a long while. But yeah, again, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe something changes on my next rewatch.
Something could change. We'll never know. I mean, we'll know, but.
What do you mean we'll never know? We're gonna go over.
I don't know. I got distracted by something, but yeah, I think in season 2, I mean, I think I only walked away with like 2 or 3 episodes that I was like, I don't like that, and that's still like, of 20 episodes, that's a pretty good run.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any show that have that many episodes in a season where I only walk away disliking 3.
There's a couple shows, and I will say we're probably going to disagree then if that's where you're at already.
What do you mean?
I think these are the weakest episodes of the season that I actually still liked a lot.
There's a difference between weak episodes and bad episodes, you fucker.
Okay, well, I don't think any of them are bad either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I was saying at least 2 episodes from season 1 I thought were bad.
Oh, I thought you were talking about this season now. Never mind.
No, I was saying 2 episodes from season 1 I thought were bad. That was what I was saying.
Okay.
So, of 20, that's a pretty good number.
Yes, it is.
So, do some math in your fucking heads, losers.
What the hell? Where did that come from?
Can you believe my favorite character is about to show up?
Yes, I can, actually. But until then, next week we are talking about The Blind Bandit, Zuko Alone, The Chase, Bitterwork, and The Library. So tune in next time.
And I was going to say, normally I was going to start every book out with me doing a BuzzFeed quiz.
I'm glad you dropped this immediately.
No, well, I found out I couldn't find enough to do every episode. But I found enough to do 1 per book. And I was going to do it tonight, but my internet is still not back.
Oh, thank God.
I still have no power. For no reason. I have no idea why there's no power at this house. It is not raining. There is no storm. Everything was good. And now I have no power. So I'll save it for the next episode.
Okay, fine.
I'm sure the audience is on the edge of their seats.
I know. I haven't, like, with the time we're recording this, because we've been recording these, like, almost back-to-back, like, pretty rapidly. I wanted to start asking people on the Twitters, like, what do they think of the episodes so far? But I guess I have to announce this first.
We're probably going to finish the entire first show before releasing any episodes.
No. I got... We'll see. It'd be kind of cool to get the anniversary.
I know. When's the anniversary?
February 21st. Never mind.
All right.
Not happening.
Good job.
Oh, wait. Maybe for the ending? July 19th. Never mind.
Well, all right. Okay. One last guess. When did the M. Night Shyamalan film come out?
No, that was definitely like a June thing.
I think we just passed the 10th anniversary.
Oh, that's
of that
right.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember a friend of mine told me, like, no, it was pretty good. We've never let him rest.
Did you kill that friend?
No. He's a teacher now.
What did you say?
He's a teacher now.
Oh my God. Oh no, the future of America is doomed. Hey, that's like my friend fucking Emily, who I know is listening, told me, like, I was like, I'm not seeing Jurassic World, I think all the trailers look bad. And then she saw it and was like, actually, it's pretty good. And then I went to see it at a matinee, and I started texting her about 30 minutes in, when does this get good? Because that was one of the worst movie-going experiences of my whole life.
Oh, okay, and before we officially wrap up, also want to shout out, again, Lauren McMullen, the only female director in the series so far.
Oh, that's a shame.
But she's done 2 of these episodes.
Yeah, she did my favorite one.
And The Cave of Two Lovers.
Yes.
I like it.
I was just dissing the hippies.
Yeah, okay.
I know that dunking on hippies is like right-wing propaganda, but fuck hippies. All the hippies grew up to vote for Reagan. They suck.
Yeah, fuck Forrest Gump. Anyways, Matt, where can the people find you?
Oh, that movie sucks so hard. I'm glad as a culture we finally just accepted that Forrest Gump is like the worst movie.
Where can the people find you?
Remember did they show you Forrest Gump in history class?
No.
They did in my school.
We saw Gandhi.
I mean, Gandhi's not like great, but
No, it's not. It's just long.
It's better than Forrest Gump.
Is it?
Yes, actually.
Gandhi was a horrible racist.
Yeah, I know, but you know,
Forrest Gump wasn't real.
I know, but Forrest Gump did some fucking dumb shit. It's just like, you ever see the Dave Chappelle bit about Forrest Gump?
No.
I'm just gonna quote it. You can cut this. Who cares? But he's like, I was offered a part in Forrest Gump, and he's like, I'm reading the script and I hated it. And he's like, I'm reading the script and I'm like, this Forrest Gump guy's an idiot, and all he does is he just keeps winning. He's like, who the hell is dumber than Forrest Gump? And then he goes, oh, his black friend. Which isn't wrong.
Oh, wow. Oh, no.
So... put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Matt, where can the people find you?
I'm at Emperor OTN1 at twitter.com.
And you can find me on the Twitters at the Diego Crespo. Check out the Waffle Press on Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, and Patreon, where you can get the entire Book 2 recordings available now if you're on Patreon.
Hey now.
Yeah, so check that out.
I'm sure that's a good call to make. I'm sure nothing will interrupt our recording schedule.
Don't put that out there in the world. Don't do that.
Hey, I just know us.
I got a good...
And by us I mean me.
I got a good feeling about this one.
Yeah, you know what? We've been doing good.
Yeah.
We're way ahead.
I know.
We're way ahead.
It feels good. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We have been professionally unprofessional.
Secret tunnel.